Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me here today to share some of the work that I'm engaged in my own community. My name's Lilian Hill, and I come from the village of Kykotsmovi. I work for a community group called Hopi Tutswka Permaculture, and that's the work that I'm going to share with you today. So I come from a small village, and we're located northwest of here. And in the village where I come from, I'm a builder as well as an organizer in my community. And so I'm going to share with you some photos and some of the work that we're doing there. But this is a photo of myself and my little brothers building the house that me and my family are going to be living in pretty soon. So in the community where I come from, we still carry and maintain a lot of the ancient ways of building, the old ways of farming. And so I just wanted to share that with you today. So the house behind us is a house that we've been building for a number of years. And it's a home that we started building from the ground up using local materials. And so the photo is of me and my brothers mixing mud in order to apply to the home and build it. So in essence, we've been sculpting our home for the past few years. And together with my husband, who is here as well, an orchard keeper in our community, and my children. I had 3 children when the bio was written, and now I have another little baby. So that's her right up there. So together with my family, we work with a group, the Hopi Tutswka Permaculture, and our main work there is to support community efforts to revitalize and strengthen our food security while inspiring, training, and encouraging the future generations. The values that we have within our organization stem from a deep commitment to maintain our identity and culture as Hopi people in order to pass knowledge to the future generations and rebuild sustainable and healthy communities. And in the Hopi language, Hopi Tutswka relates to the Mother Earth or the land and all the teachings that go along with that knowledge. We're a community-based group, and we're based in the village of Kykotsmovi. We advocate for social change. So what that means is throughout the past generations, our communities and our people have been faced with a number of challenges socially, and so what we advocate for is for our communities to become whole again as we used to be. And we host workshops, trainings, and gatherings, and we initiate projects, which I'm going to share with you all today, that encourage our youth to retain and learn the knowledge that we've had for many, many, many generations. We serve all 14 traditional villages on the Hopi Reservation, and we work with pretty much everyone there that we can work with. We work with youth and children, parents, grandparents, and elders, dry farmers, traditional leaders, elected officials, schools, tribal programs, and national groups as well. So we try to work with the whole spectrum of people and work with whoever we can out on our land. And so who here is familiar with permaculture? All right, so we have some permies in here, as we call them. So basically, a lot of people in my own community and a lot of people generally are not aware of permaculture. And so basically, our work in the community began when a number of students from my own village became apprentices with a permaculture teacher from a local Navajo community, Dene community, Loop. There was a teacher, Justin Willie, there, and he was really engaged in permaculture. And he apprenticed a number of us for 2 years, and that's where we became aware of what permaculture is and basically aware of its applications within our own community. And so basically, permaculture has a number of definitions, but it's a multi-level approach to sustainable agriculture and community development, and it supports local family ethics and our Hopi cultural practices and community ways of life. So there's different ways of applying the principles of permaculture, and for our own Hopi communities, our culture and our methods of agriculture, our methods of community sharing, it's all in line with the principles of permaculture, so that's what we're expressing through our work. We have a number of projects, and I'm going to share 3 of the projects here with you today. One of our main goals and our main projects is to build youth leadership in our community. And so through youth leadership, we aim to provide the next generation with the tools, training, and practical experience needed to be effective leaders and change agents within our community. So what that means is basically we're working with our young people to be able to share the knowledge and to basically encourage the young people to come up and take to take positions of leadership within our community. And so throughout the summer, we work with youth ages 12 through 18, and we focus on a number of different elements to build the capacity of young people. So basically throughout the summer, myself, my husband, and a number of other community members spend anywhere from 2 to 4 months with our youth, and we're basically along with them, working with farmers, working with artisans, working with ranchers, working with traditional chefs and cooks in our community to really try to engage our young people in our traditional and cultural practices. And so throughout the summertime, the youth that we work with learn different ways of making baskets. So basketry is a real important part of our economy and our culture. And so the youth learn how to make wicker baskets, yucca baskets, different types of baskets in order to maintain our culture. But a lot of these arts and a lot of the basketry that they learn how to make are used in everyday life. And so when we're harvesting corn, when we're harvesting different grains, we utilize these baskets that the youth are learning how to make, which in our language are called Tutswka. And these are yucca baskets, and they're winnowing baskets. So when we harvest grain and we harvest corn, they're used to winnow in as well as store different grains. And also the youth that we work with, they mentor with farmers where they learn how to go about planting in the traditional manner. And so on the Hopi Reservation, in the Hopi community, we're known as dry farmers. And what that means is we have limited access to irrigation, and so the farming is strictly dry farming, in that the farmers depend on the rainfall during the monsoon seasons and the snow melt during the winter. And so all of the crops are raised off of the moisture that's in the ground. So it's a very challenging way of farming, and the Hopi farmers who are continuing this tradition and practice are very aware of the land, and they're very knowledgeable about how to grow crops and how to sustain their families from the moisture that's in the ground. So in this photo here, one of the older farmers is showing some of the young men how to go about planting in the ground. So as you see on the top surface, it looks really dry, and as you dig in the bottom, there's a lot of moisture in there. So basically, the topsoil, it acts as a mulch to keep all of that moisture in the soil. And those are some things that the young people are learning and relearning in the community, how to go about farming and maintaining that practice. And also within the village, the youth have a garden where they learn different methods and applications of mulching, of soil management, and things like that. Also, the youth, during the summertime, they learn about mulching. So one of the things that we do in our community with our trees and with a lot of the gardens is we're applying layers of mulch and fertilizer and things like that in order to expand our production and expand our farming there. So through this project as well, the youth learn about building, and so we teach them, about natural building, about plastering, as well as about orchard keeping. The Hopi people are known for being orchardists and being able to raise a certain amount of and variety of fruits and vegetables there. And so the youth learn about solar. They're involved in a number of projects, and so that's a really great project that we're engaged in with our youth. And what we've started recently is a 4-month training program for young leaders aged 18 through 13, and it's an apprenticeship project where we take on a certain number of young people from our community and encourage them, and also be able to create a program where they can receive permaculture certification training. We hold natural building trainings as well. And so this project here is very important to us because we see in our communities a lack of youth engagement, and as well when youth are growing up in the communities, there are very limited opportunities for young people, And so it is our goal and our hope that we'll be able to train a new generation of young people who will be able to have the skills and knowledge to create those solutions that we want to see in our own communities. And so through this work, there's a lot of young people who go through schooling, and once they graduate high school, don't necessarily go to college. A lot of youth stay in the communities for ceremonial and other reasons. And so it's important for us to be able to create a program where young people can go through formal certification and learn different skills that we can then use in our own community. And so we hold a number of trainings, and we travel to different areas as well. And so this is one of the building trainings where we teach other young people and community members how to build bread ovens. And so in our community, bread ovens are really important because during ceremonies and feasts and different gatherings, bread is made and shared, and other pastries. And so this is a very important part of our economy and our culture as well. And also young people the apprentices go through permaculture certification training. And so this is one of the apprentices who last about a year and a half, we went to northern New Mexico and went through a permaculture certification through the Drylands Permaculture Institute, and we learned how to milk goats, which is a lot harder than it looks. And we provide trainings in a number of topics, ranging from Hopi traditional teachings in agriculture to Native people's rights and decolonization, and trying to build an awareness among the youth in the issues that we face in our own communities. And so these youth summits are really important because we also provide education on nutrition and health. In our communities, we face a lot of issues with diabetes, with obesity, things like that. So these youth gatherings are really a way for the young people to be able to not only become aware of these issues, but to also be directly engaged in looking at some of the solutions that are out there today. And so we have weavers that come in and teach the young people about weaving. Our neighbors, the Diné, the Navajo people, they're known as shepherds they have livestock and sheep. So throughout the trainings, the youth learn about management as well as processing of the meat. That's an important part of our culture. So the youth go through the process of butchering animals, and they learn about the different parts of the animals and how to go about preparing them in the traditional way. So they learn about different ways of health, and that's capoeira. I'm not sure how many people know about that, but they learn about music and song and dance. So these are really important gatherings as well, because we try to build the capacity of the youth in the traditional ways, but also part of every year we have media trainings so that young people work with mentors out of a group, out of your backpack media, which is a group of young people who go out into communities with a backpack full of media equipment and train young people in how to use this equipment to tell their stories. And so our young people have produced a number of videos and films that are available online and through YouTube, which show some of the issues that they're facing, show them engaged directly in agriculture and farming as well. And so we have technicians from our community who come in and do glucose screenings and different things like that as well.